Let's face it, you're not truly loved. You're merely tolerated. Harsh, isn't it? But this is no accident. Society has conditioned you to desperately seek approval without warning you that this is the most insidious trap. All your life, you've been told to be good, to be agreeable, to earn love. But no one dared to reveal the bitter truth. Kindness is an open gate to betrayal. In striving to please, you become defenseless. Every smile, every overly obliging gesture reveals your vulnerability. And those around you, like predators, assess your weakness, calculating how far they can push before you break. For deep down, even if you deny it, you know, love is a fragile butterfly, fickle, dependent on whims and fleeting emotions. The attachment you've built over years can crumble to dust from one wrong word, one misstep you couldn't foresee. But fear is different. It's not fleeting, nor does it depend on mood or momentary sympathy. Fear is seared into memory, like a scar that will never fade. And I'm not talking about the kind of fear that humiliates or breeds hatred. Such fear is useless and leads to self-destruction. I'm talking about that sacred awe, that respect, which makes others think twice before challenging you. They know, crossing that line, they will pay a high price. Their eyes betray that fear when they look at you. Here it is, the bitter truth, hypocritically silenced. In the game of power, it's safer to inspire fear than to seek universal love. History is full of examples of leaders craving universal adoration who were ultimately destroyed by those who swore eternal loyalty, by those who looked them in the eye and lied. Boundless kindness is perceived by many as weakness, an open door. And in this cruel world, weakness always becomes a target, always attracts vultures. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. And while modern society pretends to reject his ideas, secretly it practices them even more often than before. You've been deceived into believing that firmness is cruelty, that setting boundaries is tyranny. They look at you and lie. But who truly benefits from this lie? Those who await your downfall, those who patiently bide their time, waiting for you to drop your guard to strike where it hurts most. Their eyes gleam with malice, because no matter how much they pretend, people always act in their own self-interest. Loyalty lasts only as long as it's convenient. Respect endures only as long as they fear the consequences. And only fear compels them to keep their word. The art of governance lies in knowing when to shroud your will in the armor of law, and when to unsheathe the steel blade of force. For power rests on two unshakable pillars, laws that delineate permissible boundaries and the force that ensures their observance. Laws unsupported by force are mere ghostly illusions, openly mocked. Force unchecked by law is savage barbarism, sowing only hatred and fear. A wise ruler is one who can find a delicate balance between these two extremes. He maintains order by relying on his authority, yet avoids unnecessary cruelty, understanding that excesses can backfire. Perhaps you think I view the world cynically, even cruelly, but just look around. How many times have you seen excessive kindness lead to someone genuinely wanting to help, being trampled by those they extended a hand to? How many times has leniency become a green light for betrayal and perfidy? And despite this, you still naively believe that being loved is enough, that kindness is a reliable defense against a stab in the back? Alas, it is not. The only real shield is respected authority, that moderate fear that doesn't escalate into hatred, but keeps the destructive ambitions of others at a respectful distance. True power is not ephemeral popularity or universal love. It is not striving to meet expectations. True power is deep respect, bolstered, yes, at times, by fear. Respect born of fear, like a sturdy oak, will withstand the storms of time, unlike the fragile, fleeting admiration that love bestows. This is not about tyranny at all. It's about a subtle understanding of human nature. People respect what they fear losing, and they despise what they take for granted, what they deem safe. Therein lies the uncomfortable truth. Human psychology is as predictable as the sunrise. If you aspire to leadership, learn to play the strings of respect and fear like a virtuoso. Never let fear escalate into irrational hatred that breeds irreconcilable enemies. But respectful fear, like a loyal dog, creates devoted followers. Do you truly seek power? Then face the truth. Abandon the desperate search for love and learn to wisely manage fear. Be fair but unyielding as a rock. Be kind but never lenient so as not to cast doubt on your strength. Always be shrewd, anticipating possible betrayals and preparing well-thought-out responses. At the decisive moment when enemies seek your downfall, only unwavering authority, cultivated in balance and dignity, will keep you from the abyss. Remember, people quickly forget kindness, but forever remember the respect you inspired. Machiavelli was right. Power based on respectful fear is more reliable than fickle sympathy. Master this art, and you will grasp the very essence of true leadership. True wisdom lies in understanding that authority should not be all-encompassing, but strategic. Constant displays of force dull respect. But if you are firm only at key moments, your resolve becomes legendary. Unpredictability is your loyal ally, for no one respects a predictable leader. Power is not consistency, but suddenness. Consider for a moment who commands greater reverence, one who unleashes wrath and punishment upon the guilty, or one who stuns with unexpected generosity when all predict inevitable retribution. Herein lies the true essence of Machiavellian power. Power isn't in thunderous shouts to be heard. No, true might lies in sparse but clear words, each echoing in the mind. And the most fatal mistake a leader can make is the futile attempt to earn universal adoration. One obsessed with the craving for approval inevitably loses control over their own destiny. In striving to please everyone, they end up pleasing no one, betraying their true essence. Uncertainty flickers in their eyes, restlessness in their movements, and their voice trembles with the fear of rejection. A true leader understands that governance is the art of making difficult, sometimes painful decisions. Decisions that won't elicit universal jubilation, but which will quietly be acknowledged as the only correct ones. In their gaze is steel, in their voice, confidence, and in every gesture, unshakable resolve. Recall those whose names are eternally etched in the annals of history. What made them unforgettable? Not their ability to flatter and appease, but their cool-headed capacity to make fateful decisions in moments when everyone else trembled with fear. It is in these moments that the true nature of a leader is revealed. Their ability to see further, act decisively, and bear responsibility for their actions. Unwavering firmness, seasoned with respect, ignites hearts. A leader mired in doubt loses the thread of trust. But let them show resolve, and people will follow, even those who dared to challenge them. Now, I'll touch upon a topic many shy away from: the loneliness of power. Have you ever wondered why great leaders often seem solitary? Because true power is always a solitary path. The higher you climb, the fewer are capable of grasping your decisions, fewer willing to walk hand in hand without feeling the sting of envy. This is the cruel irony of power. The stronger you become, the fewer genuine allies remain by your side. But embracing this solitude grants freedom from emotional ties. Only then can you make decisions unclouded by others' feelings and resentments. Look around. How many times have you seen people fail because they didn't grasp this simple truth? Power cannot be shared with those who don't understand its essence. Otherwise, envy will sprout like the weed of betrayal and drain your energy. A wise leader looks to the future knowing that true loyalty is forged in storms. He surrounds himself with those who have proven their dedication in difficult times and tactfully distances those who seek only personal gain. A true leader doesn't reveal their hand immediately, leaving a veil of mystery, creating deliberate uncertainty. Secrecy is their reliable armor. When you open up too much, you become defenseless. It's impossible to harm what is hidden. Always leave a part of yourself unrevealed. Let no one predict your next move. This unpredictability will keep everyone on their toes and you safe. But here's what many aspiring to power miss. The essence isn't in brute force, but in skillfully exploiting others' weaknesses. Uncover the true motives of those around you, and you'll gain the most powerful tool for managing their decisions. Do you know the secret of those who always get what they want? They have thoroughly studied the fears and desires of every person and learned to use these feelings like threads, controlling their actions. While most expend energy chasing universal approval, a wise leader directs their energy toward understanding the true motives of those around them. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote his works not to raise tyrants, but to tear away the veils from a truth many fear to acknowledge. Human actions are rarely dictated by altruism. More often, they are driven by self-interest. One who grasps this reality leaves the world of illusions and gains an undeniable advantage in governance. Machiavelli's deep psychology of power is an understanding of human vulnerability. It is not cynicism, but pure pragmatism. It is a clear-eyed view of human nature, accepting it as it is and strategically adapting to it. Consider, what do you prefer, to be considered kind or strong? Society, without hesitation, will answer kind. But what happens when others perceive weakness in you? They will not hesitate to exploit it for their own benefit. True strength lies in the ability to show controlled kindness, carefully weighed and directed only when it is advantageous. For if generosity knows no bounds, people will very soon begin to take it for granted, forgetting gratitude. The true danger lies not in firmness of character, but in agonizing hesitation about when to display that firmness. Respect evaporates in doubt, but never in decisive action. Here it is, the ultimate truth, piercing and unsettling. Power is enjoyed, but it can never be fully possessed. It's an endless game where, should you loosen your grip for a moment, you'll be thrown from the throne. You know this, feel it in your bones, even if you've never admitted it aloud. It's that sensation of constant vigilance, that unceasing alertness that gnaws at your soul. But this is not weakness, no. This is precisely what keeps you sharp, what forces you to always be on guard. Such is the price of power, eternal vigilance, eternal uncertainty, a constant reminder that to maintain balance, you must teeter on the edge of an abyss. But let's dig deeper. Listen closely to my words, for few dare to admit this. Power is merely a collective illusion, an unspoken agreement between you and everyone else. Your authority is a mirage, existing only because those around you believe in its reality. They fuel this illusion, convincing each other of your right to lead. Force and laws are merely tools designed to bolster this collective belief. But what happens when even one person doubts your authority? What happens when the unspoken agreement about your dominance collapses? The answer is simple. Your power will instantly vanish, like smoke. This is precisely why a leader's greatest gift is the ability to maintain this fragile consensus, this invisible contract between them and their followers. They must carefully manage it, constantly renew it, and even from time to time put it to the test, so no one forgets who is in charge. Herein lies the difference between a true leader and a pathetic tyrant. A tyrant, blinded by belief in their boundless power, detaches from reality and inevitably heads toward self-destruction. A leader, on the contrary, understands the fragility of power, realizing that it always hangs by a thread, ready to turn into nothing at any moment. And it is in this balance, in this constant tension, that their true strength lies. Allow me to ask you a final, most incisive, and perhaps most important question. Do you crave power for its own sake, or are you merely drawn to the illusory security it supposedly grants? Because if you're seeking a quiet haven, you've come to the wrong door. True leadership is a dangerous game, full of anxieties and never offering absolute certainty. But therein lies its magnetism, its irresistible essence. It is in this abyss, in this controlled element of uncertainty, that figures who reshape history are born. Those who live on the knife's edge, who don't shy away from risk. These are the ones who stand the test of time. Remember forever, as long as power is in your hands, you will be balancing on the edge of an abyss. And precisely because of this, every step you take will be filled with meaning. Every decision will have real consequences. If you're looking for a comfortable armchair, this isn't the place for you. But if your goal is to change the world, to leave an indelible mark, then embrace this discomfort, make it your ally. Enjoy it, for only in this eternal tension is true greatness born. So you're here. This means the spark of leadership within you isn't merely smoldering, but burning brightly. Heed this. Greatness isn't in infallibility, but in the ability to maneuver, even when all seems lost. Victory isn't always triumph. It's the unyielding will to fight, even when defeat knocks at the door. To be a leader means to be able to rise from the ashes like a phoenix. One who has mastered this art becomes indomitable. The choice is yours, to lead or to lag behind, to be a strategist or a pawn in someone else's game, to forge your own destiny or be a puppet in the hands of public opinion. A true leader doesn't offer endless excuses. The desire to explain every step reveals insecurity. A leader who talks too much seems to be begging for approval. Never stoop to that. Let your decisions speak louder than words. That's how you'll earn unconditional respect. The secret to this dynamic is simple. Your power should be palpable, but not obvious. Leave room for speculation, for mystery. The human mind will fill that void with respect, even admiration. People revere the incomprehensible and fear the uncontrollable. To grasp the art of Machiavellian leadership, learn this fundamental truth. Power is not granted, it is seized. But once acquired, it demands unceasing wisdom to maintain. Act calculatingly and prudently. Do not abuse power, but do not allow even a shadow of doubt about your ability to wield it. Manage respect, subdue fear, avoid hatred, and you will conquer any environment. Remember, whoever controls minds rules reality. Whoever has mastered the psychology of respect and fear is immortal. Decide what kind of leader you aspire to be, loved but defenseless, or fear-inspiring but invulnerable. Or perhaps you possess the mastery to be both. But remember, the line between respect and hatred is thin, fragile, and dangerous. Tread carefully, and you will be invincible. The burning question today: how to distinguish soul-chilling fear from genuine respect. For many leaders have stumbled precisely here, mistaking one for the other. Fear is merely instant submission, a flash of obedience in the face of threat. Respect, however, is an echo that resonates even after you've left the stage. In fear, a person obeys orders, driven by the instinct for survival. In respect, they act in your interests, even when you're not watching. Do you feel the difference? It's one thing to extract results with the whip of fear, and quite another to ignite a fire in hearts, to inspire great deeds with sincere respect. Let's go further. A leader's true greatness lies in knowing when to press the accelerator and when to loosen the reins. Yes, loosen them. It sounds paradoxical, but absolute power is a myth. Constant pressure exhausts, dulls, and ultimately breaks. Genuine authority knows when to step back into the shadows, to give others a chance to make mistakes, to make their own decisions, so that through their own experience, they feel the value of your vision, the necessity of your guidance. If you deprive people of the opportunity to learn from their own mistakes, they will never truly appreciate your achievements. Consider, a true mentor is not one who hands out ready answers, but one who awakens a thirst for knowledge. The most skilled leader, worthy of Machiavelli, is not one who always knows what to do, but one who instills in their followers the certainty that without their guidance, inevitable failure awaits them. Cruelty? Not at all. It's strategy. To teach people to value your presence without imposing it every minute. When they realize this, no one will dare to doubt your significance. They will ask themselves, even when you're not around, what would he do in my place? When you achieve this, you will no longer need to constantly control the situation, for your power will be firmly rooted in their minds. And now, let's talk about something you might have overlooked: the subtle art of silence. Machiavelli said a lot, but he implied even more: avoiding direct statements. Strategic silence, perhaps your most powerful weapon. Do you know why? Because silence forces the other person to fill the awkward void with their own doubts. When you are silent, you compel your interlocutor to guess your thoughts, creating a subtle but palpable unease. Suddenly, without a single word, you make hearts pause in anxious anticipation. This tactic is like a razor's edge, subtle, yet incredibly powerful. Remember, whoever masters silence forges the tension of the moment, holding it in their hands like red-hot iron. But be careful, the tension must not snap like an overstretched string. Overdo it, and irrational fear creeps into souls. And from there, losing control is just a step away. Irrational fear is a slippery slope, leading directly to hatred, and hatred, once settled, becomes an eternal source of subversive activity. A wise leader would never allow this. Therefore, the devil is in the details. Always keenly measure the emotions you evoke. Know when the tension reaches a critical point, and then, slightly, loosen your grip. A small gesture of sympathy, a fleeting look of understanding, but under no circumstances lose control of the situation. And one more invaluable tool, rarely spoken aloud: praise, calibrated to the millimeter. Yes, praise, but not an ounce more than necessary. Don't scatter praise left and right, or it will lose its value. Rare but precise praise imprints itself on memory like a flash of lightning. A precise word of approval spoken at the right time breeds loyalty stronger than 1,000 threats. It's an emotional reward telling the person, "You're on the right track, and I see your efforts." But be frugal. Praise is a valuable gift that should be given with the utmost caution. Now let's move on to a topic you might have forgotten: skillfully managing your rivals. Rivals will always exist. Some act openly, some hide in the shadows. What to do with them? Remember, the most dangerous rival is one who doesn't suspect you've exposed them. Don't succumb to the temptation to quickly dispatch everyone who challenges you. Let them live, let them test you a little. Sow doubts, cause mild fear. Why? Because this opponent, without even realizing it, is working for you. They are like a living reminder to everyone. Look how dangerous it is to cross him. Their inevitable downfall will be a resounding confirmation of your strength. Their collapse will turn into your triumphant, albeit silent, victory. Let your rivals unknowingly fuel your authority like wood in a fire. Now ask yourself, how much time do you dedicate to analyzing those around you? For a true leader is, first and foremost, an indefatigable observer. You must be able to discern patterns, catch fleeting reactions, notice barely perceptible gestures that betray true intentions. One who masters this art also masters the art of psychological leadership. No matter how many strategies you implement, without absolute control over observation, all is futile. Observe, don't rush to react. Absorb information like a sponge without showing your hand. Let them think you haven't noticed anything. Allow them to feel safe, playing out their schemes right before your eyes. And then, when they least expect it, turn the gathered information to your advantage. Surprise, that's your main trump card. So let's be frank. Sooner or later, every leader will face a moment when their authority is shaken. Times of vulnerability will inevitably arrive when confidence wavers. How then to act in such a situation? Here's the crux. How you react to this blow will determine your authority far more than all your previous triumphs. When crisis inevitably strikes, maintain your composure, icy calm. By no means lose your head, for if you succumb to panic, if you show your fear, then you will indeed lose everything you've so painstakingly gained. But if, in the very heart of chaos, you maintain self-possession, if you demonstrate that your authority is unshakable, even in the darkest times, then respect for you will soar to the heavens. Remember once and for all, a leader is judged not by how they act when everything is going smoothly, but by how they pull through impossible situations. The world is full of those who boast of their authority, while luck is on their side. But only those capable of remaining a rock when everyone else is gripped by terror will enter history as true leaders. They are the ones who will be remembered forever. Remember forever. Leadership is not just a title or a position. It is an unceasing, complex dance where emotions rule, where respect is the main trump card and fear is a subtle instrument. There are no universal recipes, only finely tuned strategies, adapted to the changeable nature of humanity, complex, vulnerable, and full of surprises. Now, tell me, are you ready to embrace true power? Power born from the depths of psychology and steeped in the spirit of Machiavelli. Consider your answer carefully, for once you take it into your hands, you can never go back. Never.